Everyone say, oh, let's grab a drink, let's go out and grab a bite. I'm like, I love all that, but maybe instead, especially at a time like this when, the world is on fire, literally, spend a moment, maybe look at our work, take an hour of your day, volunteer or donate a little bit, spread the word. Because there's just so much going on, Patty. And so we're doing everything from getting out the vote in Georgia and Wisconsin to making sure people are fed during a period where SNAP is under attack, and more people, our seniors, our expectant mothers, our youth, are wondering where their next meal is going to be, to just removing the basic barriers, preventing people we know have the qualities, we know have the work ethic, we know have the resume to get the jobs, we're being denied because of old records and things like that, free legal assistance in that context, helping people seal their records, and other remedies that people aren't even aware of, like certificate of good conduct or even executive clemency. And then, of course, our policy advocacy. I mean, we need more people to not only be willing to be at the front lines, but to learn how to be effective at the front lines, which is a kind of an ongoing conversation I think I'll be touching on throughout the course of today. But I think at the end of the day, there's a lot of things to be completely hair on fire mad about, and absolutely. And I'm so grateful for you for being such a stalwart for not only facts, which, you can't even expect in the media anymore, but being such a fighter and making sure other people get a chance to have their voice amplified or otherwise muted or unheard.
Well, I have always just been impressed by the work that you do, and from the moment we met, we won't go into any details on the lasting impression that you made, because that sounds weird.
Yeah, let's say you almost have to.
Yeah,
now, if
so
you don't mind.
I was down advocating.
But I know what you were saying,
yes.
But I don't think the audience, unless they're familiar with our backstory.
Yes, and it's actually pertinent to everything that we're doing right now. What you're working towards, and particularly when you talk about access to food and support services. So in 2015, Governor Rauner, I had been going down advocating for services for individuals with disabilities, and in particular certain types of therapies that were working for my son, but I knew other families didn't have access to because of the insurance coverage or the lack of funding. In the meantime, Governor Rauner cut $26.1 million in funding for services like Meals on Wheels, smoking cessation programs, which might not sound like a big deal, but I mean, for someone who's trying to cut the habit and improve their health, after school programs. Yeah, Epilepsy Foundation, the Autism Program of Illinois. Those are just 5. I remember there was a whole sheet, single spaced, of organizations across the state that were losing funding. Easter Seals, and so I raised the alarm. I rang the alarm bell. I told the station I was working with, I have to go to Springfield and find out what's happening. I'm going to bring parents with me. And one day I was like, you know what? And I don't know if we had met before that. Did we? Do you remember if we talked before that day at the rail? I can't remember.
No,
we must have met or something.
No, we didn't.
I seriously think this is like a mythological creature that was sitting on a bench who said, who you should talk to is, because I said, I'm only talking to Democrats. I've got to talk to some Republicans. I've never seen that person again. They said, and they were wearing a black suit, and it wasn't Scott Cizik. It was somebody in a black suit and a white shirt, but similar to Scott, like that sort of like kind of almost like a caricature of a lobbyist, but like from the 70s or something. He had like kind of a real black wonk. Hair. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so he said, you should talk to is Jeannie Ives. And I didn't know much about Jeannie Ives. He's like, she's a mom. She supports veterans. So I'm like, I was pretty much skipping marching
to your death.
Yes. And Todd Belcore put his hand on my shoulder. The way I tell is he clotheslined me, but he did not. But he walked and he gently put his hand on my shoulder and turned me around, guided me away from. He goes, "You don't want to talk to her." Yeah. You were not wrong. And it was the start of a beautiful friendship.
That's right. I mean, not that you don't want to talk to her. You just need to be prepared better than you were with that gentleman's synopsis there. So those things are true. Yes. But
also,
she cuts people down regularly. And if you're a newbie, you have to be prepared for that in a different way. And you were a little fresh. So.
It's a little bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Didn't want to mess up your whole experience. I'm the first swing of the bat.
I had like a basket. I felt like it was like Little Red Riding Hood going to see my grandmother.
Yeah, skipping to see the wolf.
Yes. So that was remarkable. And so to that point, though, about why I was there in 2015, I just had a message from Jesse Rojo, who's working with early intervention funding. When I was going down there, part of what I was fighting for was also for providers of therapies that were so impactful in my child's life, in my family's life, that now 10 years after, Governor Rauner decimated those services by first defunding them, to not paying them. So people left the industry. Yeah. There were a lot of people who were like, well, I'm not going to do this, or I'll fight. I'm not going to work with the state anymore. There is a 1-year wait list for 3,000 babies, which means that if Declan were born now, maybe he would be considered critical and had to get those services. I don't know. But every day you lose without helping your child reach their potential is a day that you will regret and wonder, what if I done more? And those parents have to live with that. And that's just like a little part of that. If we have to talk about the fiscal part of this, every dollar you invest now, you save $7 later.
Yeah.
For people who need long-term services, at any rate. So that, but somebody texted earlier that we had a guest that was a little doom and gloom. This is my problem now.
I'm not doom and gloom.
I am. My problem is the work that you're doing. It's yes. The thing is, the work that you're doing now is crucial because of the way they have cut off funding for WIC, for SNAP, the requirements for receiving those benefits. I don't know that if it's 10 years now from what Rauner did.
Yeah.
It is at least, because we're talking about hospitals that are going to close. We're talking about more providers that are like, I can't afford to do this. I'm going to just fold my business. Farmers. Yeah. Because you've worked with black farmers and that funding, because they're like, well, if it says black in it, we're not going to give them money anymore.
That's right. And certainly the use of them, too. No question about it. I think at the end of the day, I mean, it's not doom and gloom when it's the truth. And I think people need to hear the truth now more than ever so you can prepare yourself and, more importantly, fight. I mean, now's the time. I mean, it's easy to be weighed down, frankly, from just like the cavalcade of just heartbreaking stories and people being killed abroad and locally, and people being sent to war for no reason and all this stuff. I mean, not to mention what's going on down the street with ICE and people going hungry, and our continued unhoused crisis and mass incarceration issues we have here. It's all that can be so overwhelming that the only thing you can do is just get out there and maybe turn off the social media for a day or two, continue to listen to Patti, of course. But, just surround yourself with people who are doing the work, because what you'll find is while being closer to pain does have its own effect, and that does hurt, but you'll feel so much better, feel fulfilled, you feel like you're getting something done, and you feel like you're doing your small part in this very crazy time.
And for folks who want to learn more, is it socialchange.site, S-I-T-E?
It is. There you go.
I know.
It is.
Hey, I could be doing
There's
your
also
entire...
a backstory there. People are like, why is he so excited? She knows the email.
They know. They know how I am with names, with like titles. So they know that they know that I try to memorize everything, that I don't have it written down, and that I stumble through it. They know how clumsy I am, and they're okay with that. So it's socialchange.site. That's S-I-T-E. There are ways for you to volunteer, to contribute, to show up to events. Do you have anything coming up that you want in particular?
Yeah, we actually have our social media presence has gotten so much more advanced now thanks to the work of my lady Felicia. So like we have our whole calendar of events coming up. You can see it right there on our page at Shy Social Change on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. Shy, C-H-I, Social Change, but our website as well. So we actually have ongoing things now. So a lot to actually update on. So now we actually are working in partnership and have a soup kitchen 4 days a week that serves meals twice a day. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Once a week health clinic on Fridays, serving the seniors in particular once a month, the third Wednesday. And in addition, of course, like our Mother's Day programming, we have events to give clothing, gently used clothing to people, because people just don't have anything right now. So you can tap into all that. We have our legal clinics coming up. All that's literally 4 days a week on the weekdays, and then you've got weekends coming up for Mother's Day weekend, and the weekend after we have a legal clinic. So please, if you have any time, you'll find there's something that comports with your busy schedule. And at the very least, stay in touch, get on our newsletter, and see other things coming up around the bend that you may have interest in. This is legislative season as well, so we have several bills that are in the hopper that we'd love for people to slip in support of or become aware of. And if nothing else, you think even seeing and kind of hearing about the work, watching the videos, because we have cute little videos and things like that. We have our own farm, which a lot of updates. So it may give you just something inspirational, something to make you feel a little bit better, give you a little hope during this really crushing time.
Oh, Todd Belcore, Executive Director of Social Change, is my guest co-host for the show today. We are going to take calls a little bit later, but we have some great guests coming up. In a moment, we're going to talk to Aviation Commissioner Michael McMurray. We want to talk about Concourse D. The construction. Did you know about this?
No.
At O'Hare Airport.
Sorry, it sounds like the beginning of some sort of bit or something. That's why I was trying not to laugh. I was like, what?
Concourse D. I know this is so. There's a vertical construction of the new Concourse D at O'Hare Airport, a 19-gate expansion at our incredible airport here in Chicago, the world's busiest airfield, which is on track.
Where are they going to stack it?
We're going to find out from our friend who is joining us, the Aviation Commissioner.
Please don't turn it to Hartsfield. Please don't.
Well, now we got questions. He's on the line. He can let us know in a moment. We'll take a break and continue with our conversation with co-host, Executive Director of Social Change. Go to socialchange.site. That's SITE, socialchange.site. We'll find out more about the great work that they're doing. But first, check out their site and get involved and really do some of the work that you want to do. You've asked, how do we help? How do we get involved? And this is such a great way to do it. He's got his, I'm going to get a bracelet. More after this. On WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150 in Seattle. Thank you to our sponsors, Pride Coffee Roasters. Go to pridecoffeeroasters.com. Maybe put in an order for the best single origin roasted to order beans you will find anywhere. Source.solar, too, by the way. Get the ball rolling on putting solar panels on your house or business by making an appointment with Peter Sorellis at Source.solar. Go to MinocquaBrewingCompany.com and support the great work that we do there, because I am now going to be hosting a podcast Mondays at 1. It's office hours with Patty, and we're going to be live streaming my show on Substack. I'm very excited about that. I have to figure out where I'm going to do that from, because I don't have any good space for that. So I got to figure out my backgrounds and things like that.
Handle that.
We'll figure it out.
You're a
and
pro.
I'll try. MinocquaBrewingCompany.com. And thank you to our friends at Are You Really Winning? Go to AreYouReallyWinning.com. If you or someone you know is struggling with a gambling addiction, please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit AreYouReallyWinning.com. More in a moment, and we're going to talk to Aviation Commissioner with City of Chicago, Michael McMurray, after this.
Choose Views with Richard Chew.
Here's the thing that Trump has done and that the regime has done and all these folks that are part of this conversation have done. They found some words and phrases that they can wash, rinse, and repeat over and over again. They found some things that they can say that they're catchy, they're easy to come out of the mouth, people can easily hear them, and they oftentimes are tinged with some element of fear. Witch hunt.
Richard Chew, weekday mornings at 6 on WCPT 820.
Hey Progressives, it's Richard Chew, host of Chew's Views weekdays 6 to 8 a.m. Central. We're all anxious for the 2026 midterm election to arrive so we can restore some sanity and much needed oversight to our government. In fact, it's the most important midterm election in American history, and Chew's Views will be in the thick of it, bringing you candidate interviews on a regular basis. I'll be talking to Democratic Party hopefuls running for House and Senate at the federal and state level, as well as candidates for governor and other state and local offices.
I am in love with our ability to fight for our rights, to fight for our future, to fight for our freedoms, to fight as our ancestors fought. It's just our moment. This is just our time to stand up and to speak up. We can't give up on this.
If you miss any of the interviews live, you'll be able to find them all on WCPT's Candidate Interviews page at heartlandsignal.com/candidates. That's Choose Views weekdays from 6 to 8 a.m. on WCPT, Chicago's progressive talk for 20 years.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us. We continue our conversation, and we have in studio with us guest co-host Todd Belcore, who's the Executive Director for Social Change. And joining us on the line is Commissioner Michael McMurray, Aviation Commissioner for the City of Chicago. Commissioner, thank you so much for joining us and being so patient on the line. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And of course, as I mentioned, I have Todd Belcore in studio with me. We both were like, when I said Concourse D construction had started, his eyes lit
vertical.
up. Vertical. What? Tell us what's happening at O'Hare Airport.
Well, we're in the midst of a major modernization of our facilities here at O'Hare International Airport. So we have an $8.2 billion 8 to 10-year construction program where we're building 2 new concourses, Concourse D and E, and a new global terminal. So we're very excited about it. And, we have a lot of investment happening, particularly through our airline partners, United and American Airlines, And so we're very excited about everything that's happening here.
So so for folks, you know what's funny? When they built the last concourse back in, 2000, I want to say 2006, was that the last time we did major additions to O'Hare Airport? Is that right? 2006, 2007? Do you know?
No, it would have been maybe a little bit longer than that, but I'm sure you're referring to our international terminal.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
There was a day when they let people on the runway. So we were at O'Hare Airport. The boys, like one of the boys was in a stroller. Like it was wild. I don't know if you're gonna do something like that, but I'm all in if you do that. So for folks who are imagining O'Hare Airport, where is this? Yeah.
So it's right off of Concourse C. We broke ground on our Concourse D last August, $1.3 billion new concourse. So it'll be just off the southern end of Concourse C. And, here at the Chicago Department of Aviation, we just recently marked, 70 years of passenger service at O'Hare. And so, as I mentioned, that ORD Next, that $8.2 billion program, it's really about us building for the next generation of growth at O'Hare.
I love that.
That's incredible. So when you say it next to C,
okay,
does that mean like above C or like adjacent to C, just so it's like on the same plane as the other concourses? I heard vertical, I thought it was going to be on top, and that made me a little nervous.
Yeah, no, that's funny. No, it'll be connected, but just to the south of Concourse C.
Okay, great.
And if you're ever at O'Hare, you'll see the actual construction that's actually already taking place. Again, we broke ground last August on this project.
Okay, so because I fly United. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that. I'm not. I don't.
Not till you get some money from that.
I'm just saying. But the reason I say that is I often have to go to Concourse C. What kind of? That's a haul. I mean, I'm grateful for the moving sidewalk and that tunnel. By the way, I've been going to O'Hare Airport when we were kids, and they extended the Blue Line to O'Hare. I went to Lane Tech, and in 1987 or so, we used to take the Blue Line and just run around O'Hare Airport. I mean,
ruffians. That's why they don't let people in there now. But they should call that the Vasquez rule.
Do you know how magical it was to be on that tunnel going to Concourse C? But my question is, that's a haul when you're going to Concourse C. What kind of do you know what they're planning as far as is there going to be a rail extension to get to D, or is it through C?
Yeah, so there's a pedestrian connection from Concourse C to Concourse D. And in the future, we envision also maybe rail service, also connecting both Concourse E and Concourse D to O'Hare's core, where we're going to build a new global terminal as well, where currently Terminal 2 is standing.
I don't know. I'm an O'Hare girl through and I mean Midway's fine, and no, I mean I'm sure you're also the commissioner for Midway.
That's right.
However, my dad was a cab driver, and I lived in Jefferson Park, so I'm a hop, skip, and a jump. So I'm kind of excited. I mean, I know people hate our airport, but I'll tell you something. I love I think O'Hare is incredible.
They're doing a great. I mean, for them to have such extensive construction already underway, and you don't even really feel it when you travel. That's light years better than almost every other major airport you ever experience. In addition to having a smooth experience, just engaging in any of the concourses or terminals. So hats off to you, Commissioner, for sure.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we think, first and foremost, it's all about, the safety and security of our airports and our travelers and our passengers, the efficient, operation of our airport system. And then also about the traveler experience, right? Mm-hmm. So, there's a lot of competition out there, both domestically and internationally. Mm-hmm. And so we pride ourselves on that passenger experience. And this whole modernization, that's what's really driving that, right? We have tremendous growth at our airports. We expect there to be continued growth. The city and the mayor, our goal is to continue to invest in infrastructure, and obviously O'Hare and Midway are part of that. And so whatever we can do, one, from the standpoint of, passenger experience, that's very much key to us. And then, O'Hare, you can pretty much get to anywhere in the world from O'Hare, anywhere Absolutely. In the world, and obviously in the U.S. So, O'Hare is one of the has been the most connected airport in the United States for nearly a decade, right? Several hundreds of destinations across the globe. We have this unprecedented kind of an unparalleled 8-runway system that allows for unmatched level of operation and capacity and flexibility. But, a lot of this is really because of the strong participation and partnership with our hub carriers, as I mentioned earlier, American Airlines and United Airlines, right, who we can't really thank enough for the volume of both connecting and the origin and destination traffic that they bring to Chicago. So, all of those things are very important. And again, just for the travelers, we talked about ORD Next, and that, what it means is, more flexibility. It means more efficiency, better amenities, including new gates, lounge space, dining, retail options, and family-friendly features. So it's really important of Chicago.
I have to. When you travel, I mean, like, are you constantly comparing? Like, oh, I like what Denver's gotten. LAX has, updated and stuff like that too.
I certainly do. I don't know if you're talking about the commissioner.
Both of you,
Yeah,
yes.
go ahead, Commissioner.
Yeah, there's a saying that you've been to one airport, and each airport is unique in and of itself. And there are lots of things that, that when I do travel and I see, we look for best practices operationally, what's happening maybe facility-wise, what's happening technology-wise. Mm-hmm. So, if there's an opportunity to, look at what others are doing, there's no need to invent the wheel if it's working. And we feel that it can work here. That's exactly what we do. One of the things is for us as we move forward to the future, we want to make sure that, our airport is smart. Our airports are smart, and they're sustainable and they're digital. So that's very important operationally and for the traveler experience.
Okay.
Todd, did you have thoughts on other airports?
I have a couple of thoughts.
Yes.
I think, along the lines of, reinstating the opportunity for kids to run around the airport. I do think saying that in jest, but also in seriousness, there aren't a lot of family-friendly areas within airports. So if you got kids, little ones in particular, and they want to run around, you're just hoping the best that they're not kicking over people's stuff. I mean, hopefully, in these new concourses, some contemplation has been had as to making sure there's space reserved for more little ones, 2 years old, 5-year-old, 7-year-old, to run around and get some energy out so they're not just driving everyone crazy on the actual flight.
And that includes kids with sensory issues. I travel, my son is now 20, but has significant intellectual and physical challenges, which I know. And we never had too many problems, but you're right, there's not a lot of running around, but I know in other airports that were challenging. But this new Concourse D has a kids area, correct?
Sure does. It'll have a 400 square foot child's play area. So those are the kinds of things that we're trying to, take into account as we continue forth with this program, with both of our concourses and also with our new global terminal, just, catering to the needs of travelers and anticipating those kinds of amenities.
And folks can find out more information about what's happening. Is there a website for learning about ORD Next and the program?
Yes, there sure is. So thank you for asking that. We should do. It's o'hare.ordnext.org. So that's ordnext.org. And you can find out all about the ORD Next program. Again, $8.2 billion program for modernizing our terminals over the next 8 to 10 years of construction.
And there's also an opportunity because this is going to create thousands of construction jobs, supporting minority and women-owned businesses, and forging direct pathways into skilled trades. Look at me reading the press release. And aviation careers for Chicago's next generation. So people can visit ord21.com/bids, right? I'm so glad that I have this information in front of me. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, you sure can. Listen, there's a lot that's happening. They can visit that website, and it'll tell you a lot about the different opportunities that we have going on here. This Concourse D will create about 3,800 jobs. So again, at a $1.3 billion terminal. One of the things I would say that both of our airports, our entire airport system, it's a tremendous economic engine. It's critical for Chicago and for the region and the nation. We generate $70 billion, that's B, billions with a B, $70 billion in economic activity annually. Here at O'Hare, we have about 50,000 badge employees. At Midway, we have about 8,000 together. Altogether, there's about 700,000 jobs that are related to what we do here at both of our airports. So you can imagine that scale. So there's tremendous opportunity here. If one is looking to either work or do business at O'Hare. In fact, we have our Airport Small Business Summit and Job Fair that is coming up very soon. Okay. That is on May 12th. And it's from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's a small business summit at the UIC Forum at Roosevelt in Halsted. And Mayor Johnson and I would like to invite your listeners to join us for the Chicago Department of Aviation. It's our 5th annual Airport Small Business Summit and Job Fair. So it's a signature event focused on opportunities and access. And the event itself is all about connecting Chicagoans and small businesses directly to opportunities, real opportunities, at O'Hare and Midway Airport. So what we're doing is we're bringing job seekers, entrepreneurs, aviation partners in one place, and we want to make it more easier than ever before to get involved in this industry. So, for job seekers, there's a chance to meet employers face-to-face and explore career opportunities across aviation, construction, concessions, and more. And for small businesses, it's about opening doors to contracting opportunities and helping firms grow within the airport ecosystem. So this is especially important as we continue to invest billions in O'Hare, as I mentioned earlier.
Amazing. I am so grateful to have made this connection and speak to you. And I would love to talk to you again. I know folks probably have questions, and we'd love to touch base with you and catch up with what's going on and what our residents need to know, what people need to know about aviation in the Chicagoland area. If that sounds all right to have you back.
Yes. I'd love to come back and just talk about the opportunities again for Chicago residents. It's very important, as Mayor Johnson always says. We want all of Chicago, all of the 77 neighborhoods to benefit from what we're doing and the economic engine that our airports are, not just those communities that are surround and touch our runways and our airports. So I'd be more than happy to come back and talk about those opportunities because it's very important.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Commissioner. Again, Aviation Commissioner Michael McMurray. We've been talking about the ORD Next program. It's ordnext.org to learn more, as well as for bids and learning more about job opportunities at ord21.com/bids. Stay up to date on all the information, and we will talk to you again soon, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner. Let's take a break here. We'll continue our conversation when we come back. We're in studio with guest co-host Todd Belcore, the Executive Director for Social Change. You can go to socialchange.site and celebrate his birthday month by helping out with the work that they do there. And coming up in just a moment, we are going to talk to Cecilia Nuby Brown, who is a Kansas City-based attorney. We're going to talk about a very important case that she's working on, a $71 million discrimination lawsuit she's filed on behalf of Westport, Missouri, black business owners. More after this on WCPT 820, Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150, and KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul. Thank you all for being here. Ta-da!
You are listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Cloudy and mild this evening. Chance of thunderstorms developing later tonight, mainly after midnight. A low temperature of 61 degrees with south winds at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Scattered thunderstorms Friday with a high temperature of 72 and breezy southwest winds. Saturday, sunshine, a high of 54 degrees. Sunday, partly sunny with a high of 58. And a chance of thunderstorms Monday with a high temperature of 64 degrees. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 82.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter. Think Theory Radio.
I'm very privileged to have on a special guest, Tim Ains.
We put together a team of experienced investigators. There's certain things that happen to abductees that they all talk about. And people have seen stuff, things like missing time, or they might have marks on their body. And it's interesting when somebody in India and somebody in Des Plaines, Illinois, and somebody in Fiji all have the same mark.
Think Theory Radio with Damian Perdue. Saturdays at 6 p.m. on WCPT 820.
Take every road by storm and feel the exhilarating performance in a brand new Porsche from the Porsche Exchange in Highland Park. Browse and test drive our extensive selection, like the 2026 Porsche Macan Electric. Right now, lease the 2026 Macan Electric for only $1049 a month for 39 months. Discover performance like no other when you visit the Porsche Exchange in Highland Park or PorscheExchange.com. $9,999 due at signing for qualified buyers. Excludes tax, title, license, and doc fee. No security deposit required. Expires 4/30/26.
You're listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
If you're listening to this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 North Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk and
or Pete.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us. We continue our drive home. I'm your host, Patti Vasquez, and I'm so thrilled to welcome our listeners on KKNW 1150 in Seattle and KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul, as we broadcast here in Chicago on WCPT820.com. And you can visit heartlandsignal.com. We've launched a new website. We're very proud of that, so please visit that, where you can also find a lot of our sponsors featured, including Pride Coffee Roasters, Source Solar, and Minocqua Brewing Company. I believe might be on the way. You know who all our sponsors are. Are You Really Winning? All the people that help make these conversations possible, including the ones that we're having today. Joining me in studio is guest co-host Todd Belcore, Executive Director of Social Change. Please visit socialchange.site to learn about all the great work that he does, they do there with the volunteers, with the folks that are deeply invested in our communities. And he is also an attorney, and I'm not going to go down the long list of all because I always get it wrong. Are you still teaching?
No, I'm actually not. Now that the little ones, I'm just keeping track of our national work and making sure I'm present as I can with them. But no, it's but we need it. I was just talking to one of my colleagues how there's just absolutely no institution that's really doing a good job preparing lawyers how to not just have to work within the confines of law, but actually how to change the law so it works, everyday people. And of course, we're not in an era where you can kind of rely on the Constitution or anything like that. So you have to be in the position and have the wherewithal and expertise to change the law. And we need a legal clinic committed to that in Chicago for sure.
Well, joining us is another attorney. And I should have asked how to say your all your names. Cecilia?
Yes, Cecilia.
Nuby Brown. Nuby Brown.
Yeah.
I knew. You know what? I should have committed to what I thought earlier.
That's okay.
Cecilia Nuby Brown is an attorney, and she has filed a lawsuit, a $71 million discrimination lawsuit on behalf of Westport, Missouri Black business owners.
Yes.
First, before we get into that story, tell us a little about yourself. Where did you grow up, my friend?
Absolutely. So I grew up in Flint, Michigan, between Flint and Lansing.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've been in some challenging communities.
And I'm not done yet.
Yes.
And so when the housing crisis happened in 2008, all of the GM families got moved out. So I moved to Kansas, and I went to a couple schools in Kansas City, Missouri, then Kansas City, Kansas, and I was kind of everywhere. Went to Arkansas Pine Bluff for college, an HBCU, which taught me more than just accounting. It taught me people. Yeah. And then back to Kansas for law school. So I ended up in Chicago during COVID. I was like, if I'm ever going to move and if I'm ever going to leap, it's now, and it's been awesome. So
so our city is doing
Welcome
okay by
to
you.
The city,
yeah. I love Chicago.
Oh,
for sure.
I always love hearing that. I love my city.
A lot
too.
of people say actually in front though.
Because so many people told them not to move here,
right.
or you'll get shot.
We get a bad rap, but we're the dopest city, so I try not to correct people.
I'm from Flint, Michigan. If I was going to get shot, I would have been shot there. Okay.
So I've already been through the fire. Gosh darn it.
Yeah. What do you got?
Exactly.
So what made you decide to go to law school? What was a compelling factor there?
So when I was in college, first of all, I don't like to attend classes. Surprise. No, nobody does. But I was in a speech class, and the professor told me, she said, listen, she said, I have to fail you because of your attendance. She said, but you're getting A's on all of your,
so what's the problem?
And so she said, but because your attendance is poor, I have to fail you. She said, the only way I won't fail you is if you join the debate team.
Got
so
him.
I was like, well, it doesn't sound like a choice. I joined the debate team. I fell in love. I learned how to speak. I learned how to be persuasive. And my senior year, I said, I just want to debate the rest of my life. And she said, well, why don't you go to law school? And I was like, oh, that's an option?
I feel like I can see the professor doing accent, like she knew from the very beginning how this would end.
There were 13 of us on the debate team, and 6 of us have become lawyers.
That's
really?
Incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, that's remarkable. I have a son who's really smart. Todd has met him, and I've tried to encourage him to go to law school, and he's been on debate team, and went all over the state. He said, "How do I put this?" He goes, "That sounds unpleasant."
He's right. He's right.
You'd have to meet him to appreciate the way she framed it. Just
that sounds unpleasant. Why is it unpleasant?
Law school is just it's almost like you got a foot on your neck the whole time. The pressure, the unnecessary competition, I might add. But I will say, studying for the bar was probably the most joyous time in my life, other than when I had my baby. Because
look at me, I've never heard anyone say that before.
Let me tell you what, I just learned how disciplined I could be.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
and
real.
you have to be completely self-motivated when you're studying for the bar. And I was like, dang, girl, you might really be something. You might really get it. And it was just a time in my life where everything, I was pouring all of my energy into myself and reaping the result. Because I prayed and I told the Lord, I said, I'm only taking the bar once. So if you want me to be a lawyer, this is the time.
High stakes.
And he was like, okay.
What?
Say, won't he do it?
It's so funny you say that because I remember studying for finals and being good at it. There was one class I didn't like showing up to, but she also said it was optional. Right? She said Fridays were optional.
She's like, I don't want to be here, so y'all don't have to be here.
Right. There was buckets of beers at cams is all I'm saying. So I really shouldn't have said that out loud, but that's true. Okay. So what area? So did you go into civil rights law? As that was something you were drawn into as well?
Yeah. So my 3L year, I was like taking classes just to get the credits and graduate, right? And I took a class called employment law. And I was like, okay, a little 2-hour class, it'll be fine. Fell in love with everything about it. And I was like, oh, this is what I'm doing. And so employment law covers discrimination, civil rights discrimination, people who are experiencing things at work because of their race, their gender, their sex, their religion, things like that. And I hung my own shingle. And I think my third case was an employment law discrimination case. It was crazy. And I'm 25 years old. I get this huge check, and it was a total it totally was a bait and switch, because that's not how those cases go. This was just such a bad case. They wrote the check early. These cases typically take 3 to 4 years.
They normally try to bury you.
Yeah, they absolutely do.
Which tells you how bad it must have been.
Hello.
I mean,
when people say racism doesn't exist, I'm like, no, I make a living off of it.
I pay my rent. I think so.
I make a living off of it.
But starting your own firm is a huge thing.
Yeah. I mean, I was hooked, and that has just grown into civil rights kind of generally. So here we are.
What was the impetus behind starting your own firm so young? I mean, that's landmark and trailblazing for real stuff.
I appreciate that. So I worked at a small firm, which was just like municipal things, traffic tickets, assaults here and there. And my life is crazy. Bottom line, the managing partner of that firm was stealing people's money. And I learned about it, and I'm a baby. I know.
The irony of that, I'm just trying not to spit laugh on air. I mean, that is crazy.
So I'm literally a 9-month-old attorney. I learned that she's stealing all this money, and I'm like, I took an oath, and I have a duty to report it.
What?
And so I'm a 9-month-old attorney, and I'm already sitting in front of the Supreme Court because of a bar complaint that I made, and I'm just like, oh, I could get in trouble because I work for her, and and I just was like, I've got to be honest, and I've got to get this out of the way, because I don't want to be associated when this hits the fan.
Mm-hmm.
And so after that, I was like, and I was practically running her firm. because she just wasn't there. And I was like, well, if she can do it.
Take money and make money at the same time. You got to choose one.
And I was like, well, if she can do it, certainly I can do it. And I've been doing it now for 11 years.
That's just so impressive, though.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That is incredible. And we're going to take a break here. And I want to, but before because you're taking on a case out of Missouri.
Yes.
But one of the things I learned, Todd is familiar with a previous employment situation that I had, which we won't go into. But my understanding is that employment law here in Illinois is pretty draconian. Like, it's not great here. It's very hard to win cases.
It's not. It's the administrative process is really a hassle here. Much less streamlined than I've experienced in Missouri, but I'll tell you, no place is worse than Kansas.
Okay,
so
let's find out about that when we come back. Well, this one's in Missouri, so it's Westport. Is that near Kansas City?
So Westport is actually in Kansas City.
Oh, yes, it's a very complicated place. I don't know.
We have neighborhoods in Chicago,
but Kansas City, Missouri, and Kansas City.
It's not that small. We can't have
Kansas
a neighborhood.
City, Kansas, so it's a lot. More after this with our guests in studio. We have guest co-host Todd Belcore, the executive director of Social Change. Go to socialchange.site and help their mission, help people live happier, healthier, better lives. And we also have in studio with us Cecilia Nuby Brown, who has taken on a $71 million she's filed a $71 million discrimination lawsuit on behalf of Westport, Missouri Black business owners. She is a civil rights attorney, and that's what I wanted to do. My dad was like, "Go be a business attorney," and I'm like, "I'll be a comedian." How about that? More after this on WCPT 820, KKNW 1150, and KTNF AM 950.
Whoa there. Where do you think you two are going? This is a union-only job site.
Hi, we're from ABOC, a leading business and labor union bank founded over 100 years ago in Chicago.
Good to know. We only let union members on this site.
ABOC was founded by labor union members. We have union leaders on our board and union employees to this day.
Okay, you've got my attention.
As you know, labor union banking requires experience and expertise.
Tell me about it.
Hi there. Labor unions get the advantage of our oversight and regulatory experience.
Get to the good part.
Hundreds of labor unions trust ABOC for their banking, including treasury management, investments, and construction loans like this one.
You worked on this job?
We sure did.
Just ask your boss.
Okay. Why didn't you say so? Come on in.
Thanks.
Hey, don't forget your hard hats.
Trust ABOC, the bank for labor unions.
Hey, learn more at ABOC.com. ABOC is the brand name for Amalgamated Bank of Chicago. Member, FDIC.
At Kohl's, spring style starts with the season's best shoe sale and continues with 15% off the rest of your looks. But with great outfits from Kohl's, what happens next is unexpected. Strangers ask where you shop. The breeze feels like it's blowing just for you. Your kids post for photos willingly. Yep, great spring outfits can do that kind of thing. Find yours at Kohl's and Kohl's.com. Select styles, offers end April 26th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Alexa, play WCPT.
WCPT from TuneIn.
Minocqua Brewing Company ships right to you because drinking progressively shouldn't require a road trip. You need to try it is and always will be the Gulf of Mexico Mexican Lager. Yeah, that's the real name because when our, let's be generous and say, cognitively adventurous president tried to erase 5 centuries of geographic history with an executive order, the sane half of America grabbed a cold one and said, nah, it's crisp, it's Mexican style, and it pairs beautifully with common sense. And the Freedom Trail Kolsch, smooth, easy drinking, inspired by World War II escape routes that saved lives fleeing Nazi tyranny. Because resistance isn't just a bumper sticker, it's a tradition worth toasting. Order online anytime at MinocquaBrewingCompany.com. They'll ship it right to your door. And for our Collar County friends, find them locally at our Tolly Wine and Company in Rockford, Bootleggers Liquors in Frankfurt, Westside Liquor in Morris, Liquor World in Kankakee, and the Deli Llama Store and Cafe in Lake Villa. Minocqua Brewing Company, progressive beer for people who still give a damn.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue our conversation. Someday the off-air conversation will have to be recorded. Although then I don't think people would be free with what they say
you gotta
off
give us
the
a lot of
air.
advance notice
let
on
you
that.
Vent a little bit. Yeah, no. Surprise!
Right.
That's got to be for a podcast because sometimes it gets a little salty. It did not get salty during this conversation with my guests in studio. Guest co-host Todd Belcore, Executive Director of Social Change. Socialchange.site to support their mission to help people live happier, healthier, safer lives. Go to socialchange.site. He is also an attorney who I've had the honor of sharing a microphone with for over a decade. He helped me learn. I know it was 2015 when I went into Springfield's Rotunda and you clotheslined me before I tried the Jeannie Ives.
It's back to clothesline. It started so gently.
Gently guided me away from Representative Jeannie Ives. Also joining us in the studio is Cecilia Nuby Brown. She is an attorney, a civil rights attorney here with her own law firm in Chicago. What's the name of the law firm?
It's Cecilia Nuby and Associates, LLC. So straight to the point.
Yes, exactly. And you have filed a $71 million discrimination lawsuit on behalf of Westport, Missouri Black business owners.
Yes.
What is happening in this community?
There's so much going on. So I want to break down kind of what this is. So Westport Entertainment District is one of the 3 entertainment districts in Kansas City. And the plaintiffs in this case are all Black entrepreneurs who try to lease buildings in that entertainment district. None of their leases came to fruition. 2 of them were actually able to get into the building, but not before neighboring businesses told them they didn't want their type of crowd there. They don't want the hip hop crowd there.
Have they been to some of the? Okay, I'm sorry. You know what?
Even the assumption that it's a hip hop crowd, quote unquote, just by virtue of it, melanin as well.
Absolutely. It's outrageous. So to the point where one of the plaintiffs were locked out. The locks were changed on them while they had the lease, while they were paying rent. They ended up getting a temporary restraining order against the owner of the building. Owner of the building has to let them back in, but then changes the locks again, violates the court's order, and then says, hey, let me just give you $100,000 to go away. These plaintiffs, obviously under duress, can't operate their business. If they're ignoring a court order, surely they don't care about me. Mm-hmm. They take the $100,000 under duress thinking I have nowhere else to go. So that's one of the plaintiffs. They're called Unique KC. Another one of the plaintiffs, their name is the Source LLC. They rented basically a 2-level property. They were using the bottom space as an art gallery, and the top was a social club. They were told, your type will cannibalize our bars.
Wow.
And so they would not sign. Yes. Oh, yeah, the boldness. And so they would not sign the Good Neighbor Agreement, which we have learned has been the vehicle to all of this discrimination. So after they didn't sign the Good Neighbor Agreement, they were hit with default after default. Every time that they would complete or cure the default, it would be something else. Until they were finally just put out. Now, mind you, since the lawsuit has happened, we've been in lawsuit since January of 2025. They have recently let a Black-owned business with the exact same concept into that space. But for some reason, my client couldn't do it before the lawsuit said, hey, you guys are racist.
Yeah.
I have a Black friend, see?
Exactly. Look. Well, and here's what's crazy. So the other plaintiff is Euphoric LLC. They rented a space. They paid their deposit. The owner of the space told other people who were applying for the space, hey, I have someone for 10 years. The application is closed. They were basically told no one is going to consent for your new leasee to get a liquor license through this Good Neighbor Agreement. The Good Neighbor Agreement is the devil. So basically, the Good Neighbor Agreement is an agreement that makes every business in Westport bargain for their liquor license. You sign this agreement, we'll all consent to you getting your liquor license. First and foremost, you can't bargain for a liquor license.
Yeah,
that is something that a local or state agency gives you. The fact that they are, making you sign a contract to who says you're going to use these services, you're going to use these security people, you're going to use these security cameras. You have to employ KCPD. You have to employ. They are making people do the business operations to their will, and then saying, and if you don't, we'll take away your liquor license. Insane. We have found emails between the Kansas City regulated industry directors to the executive directors of Westport CID saying, hey, we just changed our laws on the consents. The consents no longer matter. However, I'm going to show you a way around it. Ta-da, good neighbor agreement. That's where the racketeering comes from.
Whoa.
And it's so bad that we just filed our third amended complaint because we found evidence that they're trying to refute the racial discrimination claims, as I mentioned before. One owner offered an applicant $300,000 to move into the building that is disputed right now. A $300,000 investment to somebody who had been before rejected from the application process. They called him back. Hey, you're black. Can we get you back in here?
We looked you up and you seem less offensive than the others. Can you come on in, please?
And you say that, but he is a convicted child predator who cannot get a liquor license anyway. And so that just shows the desperation of trying to knock down this lawsuit and refute it. It's bad.
Oh, my God.
It's bad. And we are finding evidence by the day. People, thanks to media and being welcome on shows like this, people are coming out of the woodworks with affidavits. One recent witness was the captain of the Westport security department. And he said, everything is true. They used to instruct him to target black patrons. They used to instruct him to escalate any issue with black patrons to the police department. They used to instruct him to not escalate any issues with Caucasian people at non-hip hop venues. And they used to instruct him to even put false charges on black people.
What? Okay, so when you say you have evidence, I mean, that's part of it too.
Absolutely.
That's smoking gun stuff.
It really, and there, I feel so fortunate because this case seems huge.
Yeah.
And we have smoking gun evidence at every single level. And we've got so many counts against these people. It's not even funny.
And how much, is there any oversight from the municipal element of this?
It unfortunately is not. And I think that's because you had some of those city agents who were doing this. In fact, the city agent who we have found to be the number one co-conspirator, he just up and resigned in February. He'd been working there for 30 years. He didn't give a 2-week
He
notice.
wants to spend more time with his family.
He didn't say nothing to nobody.
Before he goes to
just
prison.
quit. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I said, someone doesn't want to lose their pension.
Wow.
Because I'm good friends with the mayor. We've been knowing each other since he was a law professor. And I just told him, I said, hey, I don't want to do it to you, but I will. And I think that he had the city to start an investigation. And that guy knew if it comes out, I'm going to get terminated. I'm going to lose my pension. So I think he just up and quit.
Holy moly. Well, I don't know that precludes any other further actions against him, though, does it?
I'm not
makes
sure.
it a lot harder.
Yeah.
Because then you have to demonstrate a lot more things. And,
intent.
Oftentimes their resigning provides indirect proof that you can also use. So
yes.
I think it's,
so I'll take it.
yeah, but that's a lot. My goodness.
It's a lot.
I'm getting texts. So if somebody knows somebody in that area or someone happens to be listening, how should they contact you if they know information? First of all, remind folks.
Absolutely. So my email address is Cecilia. It's a long one, y'all. Cecilia, Cecilia @newbylaw.com. That's N as in Nancy, U as in umbrella, B as in boy, Y as in yellow, law.com. That's going to be the best way to reach me because I'm so busy nowadays. But I would absolutely love anybody who wants to reach out, has some information. It has literally been people hearing about this case that we're getting these smoking guns from.
Are you on social media as well for people who are more inclined to go that route?
Thank you. So on my Instagram, I am CCCECI_honey.
Oh, Lord. Go ahead, Queen. I appreciate that. You like
_honey.
It was from my law school days, but this is what it is.
Honeycomb.
I love it. Thanks. I'm going to find you on social media as well. I actually got a text while we were talking from one of our listeners. This guest is my hero. Make them pay, all caps. And says when she wins, please update us. But I don't want to wait till. If you need to come in, we'd love to get an update, hang out with you some more. We could even do a whole hour talk if you want to. Just talk about employment, civil rights issues. I think people should know because a lot of people don't know their rights and they think don't bother. In this instance, you have people who've been going along because they figure this is the way it is. It's so deeply rooted in so much of our culture. And people who say racism doesn't exist anymore. So yeah,
exactly. Well, I would love to keep you updated. We actually have oral arguments in front of the 8th Circuit on May 13th.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
because the judge has been difficult, to say the least. So I will absolutely keep you updated there. And if I can just give you a little piece of history about Westport. Westport was one of the main trading spaces for enslaved Black bodies. And one of the buildings that they used to sell and trade slaves in is still standing, and it's owned and operated by one of the CID members who we're accusing of racism. The history of everything that happened there and the way that history has shaped what's going on today. I don't understand how people don't see the correlation or how they even deny it.
They choose.
Well, imagine being so racist as an entity where you have all the smoking gun evidence. You're still not trying to find a plea. You're still arguing a case.
Absolutely.
It's going to cost them a lot more in the long run. And I'm glad that's the case, that you get more for your clients. But it's that unfortunate people have to navigate that even in 2026.
Now, if you happen to remember the altercation in Alabama with the pontoon boat that wouldn't move when the steamboat was... I am wearing a hat that commemorates that. It says, don't start none, won't be none, with a folding chair on it, I'm just saying. Let's take a break here. Thank you so much again for joining us, Cecilia Nuby Brown, and the work that you're doing. I really look forward to having you back.
I will be back.
Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And we'll continue our conversation. Todd Belcore in studio with me, guest co-host, the executive director for Social Change. Go to socialchange.site. And coming up in a moment, we're going to talk to Dr. Kristin Lyerly. Is going to be on with us on WCPT, KKNW, and KTNF. Thank you all for being here as we drive it home.
In 1776, we defied a corrupt king, and the America we love was born from that defiance. Now it's time to do it again. America is in crisis, but patriots across the country are standing up to save her for ourselves and our posterity. Show your support with the No King's lapel pin, a 1-inch by 1-inch standard American flag lapel pin embedded with our No King symbol. So much better than that tacky red hat. It's a subtle but powerful way to say you've had enough of wannabe dictators and you're doing something about it. Every day, keep our movement going by wearing this pin that clearly says what freedom-loving Americans are thinking. There are no kings in America, and there never will be. Go to store.politicalvoicesnetwork.com. That's store.politicalvoicesnetwork.com. Get your No Kings lapel pin now.
There's a new kind of energy at Starbucks. The all-new energy refreshers. Strawberry acai, mango dragon fruit, or the all-new mango strawberry. New energy refreshers only at Starbucks.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. President Trump says Israel and Lebanon agreed at a White House meeting to extend a ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah by 3 weeks. Karen Shamas has more.
The meeting comes as local authorities said 3 separate Israeli strikes killed at least 6 people and wounded others in southern Lebanon. Meanwhile, the prospects of talks between Iran and the US to end the war in the Middle East is uncertain. Pakistan had planned to host another round of talks this week, but the White House has suspended Vice President Vance's planned trip to Islamabad, while Iran accused the US of a lack of good faith in negotiations. Iran fired on 3 ships in the Strait of Hormuz on Wednesday and seized 2 of them. The attacks came a day after President Trump extended the ceasefire while maintaining an American blockade of Iranian ports. I'm Karen Shamas.
Today, President Trump ordered the U.S. military to shoot and kill small Iranian boats that may be deploying mines in the Strait of Hormuz. Later, reporters asked about his timeline for ending the war.
I don't want to rush it. I want to take my time. We have plenty of time. And I want to get a great deal. I want to get a deal where our nation and the world is safe from lunatics with nuclear weapons.
Oil prices rose again today, Brent crude settling above $105 per barrel. Stocks closed lower. The S&P fell 0.4% and the Nasdaq 0.9%, both retreating from record highs. The Dow lost 179 points. That's about 0.4%. A U.S. soldier has been charged with using classified information to win $400,000 in an online betting market on Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro's capture. Federal prosecutors say Gannon Ken Van Dyke took part in the operation. In Louisiana, police say 1 person died and 5 others were wounded in a shooting inside the food court of a Baton Rouge mall. 5 people have been arrested. This is AP News. It's a big night for football fans.
The NFL Draft is set to transform downtown Pittsburgh this weekend, with hundreds of thousands expected to take in the spectacle. Over a dozen prospects will be there to walk the red carpet before Thursday night's first round, hoping to hear their name called by NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell. Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza is expected to be the number one pick by the Las Vegas Raiders. The draft might see only one quarterback picked in the first round this year, unlike the quarterback-heavy drafts of 2021 and 24. Ty Simpson is the next quarterback on the list, but he might not be picked until later in the round. Only 2 drafts in the last 24 years have had just one first-round quarterback. It happened in 2022 with Kenny Pickett and 2013 with E.J. Manuel. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
The latest at apnews.com. I'm Ben Thomas. Thanks for listening.
This is 8:20 a.m. WCPT Willow Springs and streaming worldwide at WCPT820.com. We are Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. Now your WCPT 820 weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Cloudy and mild this evening. Chance of thunderstorms developing later tonight, mainly after midnight. A low temperature of 61 degrees with south winds at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Scattered thunderstorms Friday with a high temperature of 72 and breezy southwest winds. Saturday, sunshine, a high of 54 degrees. Sunday, partly sunny with a high of 58. And a chance of thunderstorms Monday with a high temperature of 64 degrees. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 81.
WCPT replay.
Do we have another caller? Hello?
Hello there. It's Steve from the Gold Coast, Warren.
Steve Giovano. What do you know, kiddo? How are you?
There you go. Good, good. Warren, great guy, knows his business. I mean, you know, from the business side of it to the mechanics. Like I said, known the guy for 20 years. I mean, we met, we were both seeing the same woman. I happen to be married to her, but hey, you can't.
What is happening? What
No. It was all clean.
Just got spilled. Hold on. I gotta get
you. Hey, you can't, but you can't put a price on a guy who, like Warren. I mean, she can go, but I mean, you know.
You're hilarious, Steve.
No, I'm joking.
It's a joke.
Can we mark that as a clip for Warren's show from here on out?
Keep listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
Chicago's progressive talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Driving it home with Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez. From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught grabbing ass says, she's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue to drive it home. I am your host, Patti Vasquez, and joining me in studio is guest co-host Todd Belcore. Let me see if I can put the camera on for Dr. Kristin Lyerly. Are you able to see Todd there on the camera? Is that not him?
No, but I have a great side view of you.
Of me? It's in my side view? All right, let's see if I can find it. Let's see, maybe this one? How's that? Is that Todd?
Hey,
right,
Todd.
there's Todd Belcore.
Can you see me?
That's Todd Belcore, Executive Director for Social Change, and that's Dr. Kristin Lyerly on the line with us on Zoom. And I
Pleasure to meet you, Doctor.
Great to meet you.
I think we already have a lively conversation because I asked Dr. Lyerly what we were talking about today. Do we build up to Vagina Appreciation Day?
Not when you dive in like that.
I know. So it's vagina. I think we should open with Vagina Appreciation Day. I think there's it's like National Picnic Day or something, or I don't know. But I did not know that there was a National Vagina Appreciation. Is it national or international appreciation for the vagina?
It should be international if it's not.
I think so too.
Let's just say it is.
All right.
It's a tough time to be on camera, let me tell you.
Okay, I'll take the camera off.
I'm blushing and
at one point, you need to know this, Todd.
Squirm too much.
I used to hold, I don't know if I still hold, the world record for saying penis in a half an hour, the number of times. I believe we 72. And then I was like, well, we need to say vagina. So at one point, I also held the record for saying vagina. This isn't even close. Just
It could be, though.
Noted.
Let's keep talking.
Yes, let's keep talking.
I appreciate that.
The way we did the penis one was we did emergency room reports of injuries, and so this is actually the bell that I used every time I said it. I would go like that. It was around Christmas time, and this woman called up very angry because she was like, I thought it was a Christmas ornament that just kept going on, but it was because she had the radio on in every room, so she called and she was laughing.
Oh.
It was a little bit harder to get emergency room reports for what we do to ourselves. So at any rate, so let's appreciate the vagina. What should I think that one? It's even for women to be comfortable saying the word, right? Like this is something that we were like, oh, don't talk about it. Right now, people are cringing when I say it every time, right?
It's true. People have so many different names for all of our parts, but to be able to actually talk about it in real terms and like to know your body and to know as we change, as our lives change, as we grow through adolescence and childbearing years and then menopause, like things change down there and you need to know your vagina. So this is the opportunity today.
Okay,
Vagina
so
appreciation.
How do we know more about our vagina? Like, if something feels weird, we should probably. I mean, like, seriously, if you're finding like bumps or like what should we know about differences or changes or things that shouldn't be different?
Anything that's not normal should be investigated. So bumps or discharge or pain or itching, pain with sex, there are so many things that can happen and we're afraid to talk about it. And I've seen people, there are a lot of skin conditions that can happen to the vulva and the vagina. And people are so reluctant to get them investigated because it's scary and it's hard. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to have a problem down there. You just wish it's going to go away. So if there's something going on with your vaginas right now, my friends, take this opportunity, call your doctor, make an appointment, have some good vaginal health. And while we're talking about good vaginal health, don't buy those products, the douches, all of that stuff. That's not good for you. Water really is the best way to clean your self-cleaning vagina.
There you go. And I also, I've talked about this a lot with women's health. When you say go see a doctor, like my general practitioner, like I made it through. I'm postmenopausal now. I'm 54. I actually was running for office. When I was running for office, because I was door knocking during a polar vortex, I'm pretty sure I walked it off. Like I didn't even I was burning at such a high temperature. I was like, this feels amazing. Like my volunteers
melting snow as she's walking down the sidewalk.
But I've talked to friends of mine who've gone to see specialists. I didn't get any estrogen. I never really got evaluated. I just kind of and now looking back at what I was going through about 6 years ago. So
so much going on.
I realize now that part of my perimenopause and menopause played a role in my sort of stress levels, anxiety, and things like that. And we don't talk about that either, do we?
We don't. And it affects different people in different ways. You always hear about the hot flashes. Sometimes you hear about the mood changes. But, it could certainly be your mood. It could be your level of activity. It could be your ability to concentrate. There are so many different things. And you only really know if you investigate it, if you're really paying attention to what's going on with my periods. How does this affect my body? And your periods change kind of gradually over time. So, things are changing at different rates for different people. So one of your friends' experiences is not going to be the same as yours. Definitely worth having a conversation with your doctor, especially because now when I trained, we didn't talk about menopause. We didn't talk about estrogen, but now doctors are trained and they can have that conversation with you.
Excellent. Awesome. By the way, we're in the room with a girl dad. So I wish that I'd been able to have like some conversations with my dad. I mean, what would you say to a girl dad who, really wants the best for his daughters, for their safety, for their well-being and those kinds of things? 2 young girls. 2?
Yeah.
2, a third coming.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so great. You really need to know.
Yeah, I really do. It's one is going to be 5, another's going to be 2, and there's a newborn coming July 27th. So all the information we can get in this regard, I mean, my comfort is not relevant to their safety. So I want to make sure that whatever I can do to make sure they can navigate and be as healthy and safe and comfortable, confiding and getting the care they need as possible. I want to make sure I take those routes.
Yeah, I think it's listening. It really all comes down to listening and hearing what they're saying. And when they're talking about things that might make you feel uncomfortable, just exploring that and making them confident women in their own right. We all meet adults who are not comfortable talking about their bodies, who are they're afraid to use those words, grow confident young women who are ready to take on the world, whether it's their own bodies or what's going on with their friends or whatever is happening at school. I think that is really the key. And, the work that you do all reflects back on their health. Our health is so closely related to social justice and all of the other determinants of health, clean air, clean water, having a great neighborhood, having a good school to go to. It's all connected. But I think the one thing at the core for a parent, and Patty, I'm sure you feel this way too, is like growing that relationship with your kids and making sure they really feel like you are hearing them.
That's
Thank
wonderful.
you for that.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And I think because we also obviously talk a lot of politics. How much have either of you watched the RFK Jr. hearings? I just can't with the nonsense.
Literally, I just can't.
You just can't.
I need to know about it, but there's just the deluge of all the kind of completely crazy things that can really wear on you mentally. So I like to hear it in this context because you are a wonderful presenter, and I know we can actually have some barbs about it. And kind of have a gallows humor to accompany it, but let's hear more about it, please.
Yeah, what's your takeaway on what's happened in these hearings?
Well, the viral moment right now is RFK trying to defend Trump saying that he cut costs of drugs on Trump RX by 600%. Yeah. And Senator Warren kindly explained to him that would mean that the drug companies would actually be paying you to take the drugs.
Yes.
And RFK came back and said, well, you can determine percentages in different ways. And it was so crazy. One of my sons is a math guy. He's on like the math Reddits. He does not care about politics, but it is all over the math Reddits right now. So this is really penetrating in culture areas that typically don't follow politics because it's so ridiculous. 600%? Come on.
That is absolutely wild that he tried to claim that. And then, he did. And I remember hearing when he said, I don't know how long ago it was on a podcast, that black children should be sent to farms and reparented. And then he tried to deny it. I really do wish they would just have like a radio, a boombox or something and be like, well, as a matter of fact, because he said, I never said that. Yeah. I never said, just as a matter of fact. I mean, like, why don't they just have the audio with them? That's just nonsense.
This whole administration is just like a PhD in gaslighting.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot.
Seriously, but we've kind of gotten used to it. Like, if you could drop this moment in time into our lives 10 years ago, it would look like a parody. We wouldn't even take it seriously because it's so ridiculous. But it is just what we've gotten used to over the last couple of years. And man, it's exhausting, isn't it?
Well, and that's the thing is that, like, somebody asked me when I started going to Springfield, like, why I was surprised that politicians did bad things. Because we were talking earlier about our governor in Illinois at the time, before Pritzker, had cut millions, over $25 million in funding for programs that were essential to seniors, to people with disabilities, for after-school programs for kids. And they're like, why are you surprised? And I'm like, I can't imagine, like, just going, well, that's how they are. I don't have that in me. And I guess, I would rather look. I used to say I'd rather be surprised than angry all the time. Now I'm surprised and angry all the time.
Yeah, because it just keeps getting worse and nothing seems to be getting better. And we know it's going to get worse because we haven't yet started to feel the impact of Trump's terrible bill, H.R. 1. When you look at the Medicaid cuts, when you look at the price rises in ACA, the loss of ACA subsidies and how much more expensive our insurance is, we haven't lost that many rural hospitals yet, but we're going to because they can't afford to keep their doors open. KFF just put out a piece earlier this week about Nebraska and how, despite all the money that they've gotten in their rural health transformation grants, which is the big deal that the Trump administration was talking about, we're giving all this money away to rural health. Well, that goes to new programs and new projects, not the guy in Western Nebraska who has to get dialysis 3 times a week and is already traveling 30 minutes to get there and now has to travel 90 minutes in each direction to get there because they closed his dialysis center. Yeah. So I don't know what's going to happen, honestly, over the next few years as this money is sucked away from regular people who are suffering and just getting put into the pockets of wealthy corporations and a handful of people. But we're going to feel it, and it's not going to be pretty.
No, not at all. And I have been having conversations with folks, the work that Todd does, making sure that people who are vulnerable to food shortages not having access to, nourishment because of the changes to WIC and SNAP. My concern is, having done the work I did in Springfield more than a decade ago, and people are still feeling the ramifications of that just from one term of one governor who just, didn't have a budget, wasn't paying vendors, wasn't paying providers. My concern is that this is a decades-long recuperation is the only way I can put this. I'm sorry. It's decades.
No, I think you're right. But maybe this is that opportunity because people will be hurting so much that we actually can fix our healthcare system.
Well, that's the thing. If we come back stronger, that's different, don't you think?
Yeah.
It's totally different.
We have to have that in the back of our minds. Otherwise, we will lose our mind.
Yeah, exactly. Dr. Lyerly, so I know that you have been recovering from a horrible car accident. How are you doing personally?
Oh, thanks for asking. Every day's a little bit better. I actually got out in the garden today and fell over.
Oh, God.
I fell on top of a rose bush, of course.
Ugh.
Yeah, maybe it was a little early to get out in the garden, but it just felt so good because it's almost 80 degrees and the sun was shining and the birds were singing. So it was good for my soul. Yeah. Maybe not so good for my hand.
Oh my goodness.
But you okay?
I am okay. And really it is it's just a process, and it's about being patient with myself.
Yes, I agree. Be patient with yourself. We're very grateful for the work that you do, for joining us and laughing with us, but, through the madness. Laughing through the madness is really the best we can do at this point, isn't it?
We have to laugh through the madness. We have to come together and laugh in a united way through the madness, or we'll all go crazy.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it and look forward to talking to you again very soon. Have a wonderful evening and be careful. But also, I know how the urge to want to go and enjoy the sunshine in your garden.
Sip tea on the porch,
Maybe that's a better idea.
Watch.
Thank you for having me. Good luck with your new baby.
Thank you very much.
That's very sweet. Thank you so much. Take care, doctor. Thank you. Bye-bye. Let's take a break here. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation with guest co-host Todd Belcore, Executive Director for Social Change. Go to socialchange.site and learn more about the great work that they do. More in a moment on KTNW in Seattle on 1150 a.m., KKNW 1150 in Seattle, KTNF in Minneapolis, St. Paul on AM 950 and WCPT 820 Heartland Signal here in Chicago. I'm in my how many hours? Fifth hour. Hour 5 of radio. So it was bound to trip me up at some point. So thank you everybody for your patience. More after this.
Hey, Clerk Elise, you got a guy who can fix my lamp.
I do. At the Township of Lyons Repair Cafe, neighbors help neighbors repair all sorts of things from lamps to vacuums. Little acts of mutual support that make a big difference.
Hey, Clerk Elise, you got a guy who can notarize documents?
The Township of Lyons has lots of notaries on staff ready to help.
Hey, Clerk Elise, you got a guy?
At the Township of Lyons, we are your guys. Whatever you need, we work to bring more resources right to you.
Check out the Township of Lyons online, Lyons with a Y, LyonsTownshipIL.gov.
If you're looking to purchase a loved one's home after they passed away, you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. Pam wanted to purchase her grandmother's $400,000 home after she passed away, which was left to Pam's father, Ted, and her Aunt Betty. Ted listens to my show and wanted to forego his half of the equity of his mom's home and sell Pam the home for $200,000. Bad move. I recommended Pam purchase the home for $400,000 and get a gift of equity from her father, Ted, for $200,000. Which enabled Pam to purchase the home with a lower rate and no money out of her pocket. Let's review. I helped Pam purchase her grandmother's home without having to bring a penny to the closing and secure a lower rate. Team Hochberg's helped thousands of radio listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. That's 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com.
Atlantic Coast Mortgage, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 643114.
There are 1,000 ways to say it.
Nope. Knock it off. Shut it down. Dream on. No dice. Give it a rest. Not a chance.
Or just
all text. You focus on the road.
As a passenger, you have the power to prevent an accident. There are 1,000 ways to stop a distracted driver. Choose one.
A message from CTIA.
Because facts matter. You are listening to WCPT 820.
If you're listening to this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before.
Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 North Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk
or Pete.
Patti Vasquez is taking your calls now.
All right, let's hit it.
At 773-763-9278.
I got a lot to say.
It's Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
There's somebody on hold who I'm sure has a lot to say, and he's been on hold. I feel so bad because he's always our first caller. First, I want to remind everybody and reintroduce everybody to my very good friend, one of my dearest friends, one of my bestest friends, Todd Belcore, who is the executive director for Social Change. You can go to socialchange.site and support the work that they do, currently making sure that people have nourishment as they're being disadvantaged by the funding from this federal government, folks who need access to all kinds of support, and also people who are coming out of incarceration and trying to get get on footing and solid ground again, right?
That's right. But thank you for not only making sure that people can hear the facts in the world that's, propaganda is becoming so commonplace, but also a fun environment for people to kind of listen to the radio and, despite all the craziness in the world, feel a little joy.
Oh, well, I've been through so much in my life that I know what it's like to have so much weight on you that I just like to make other people happy. And to almost to a fault sometimes. But like Jim, who reminds me of my dad, makes me happy. Jim, I'm so sorry to keep you on hold for so long because we had so many guests. I should have told you.
Patty, a long day at the ranch. You were wonderful.
Thank you.
Hi, Todd.
Hey, Jim.
I think, who do I fear? What immigrant do I fear? What hemisphere do they come from? Who do I fear? What immigrant do I fear? I can't think of one. I met people from Russia. I met people from China. I met people from India. I mean, you name it.
Yeah.
And I have no fear of these people. My point is, everyone that I've run into shares the same experience that I do. It is just a matter of trying to get through life as pleasantly as possible, if that's possible. With this administration, it's impossible. But the point is, that's all we're after. That's all we're after, no matter who it is. No matter who it is or where they come from. They may be Muslims. They may be whatever faith.
Yeah.
The point is, or no faith. The point is they're all trying to get through life like we are. Like you and Todd and Patty and I. And to demonize immigrants, to me, is absolutely, I don't know what to say. It is so ridiculous to do that. I remember, real quick, Father Hesberg from Notre Dame, this is 50 years ago, Patty and Todd. He said, think of it this way. Think there's 5 astronauts in a capsule. And 3 of them have all the air supply and all the food supply, and the other 2 don't have any. How long will it take the 2 to cut their throats to get the food supply and the air supply? I mean, that's pragmatic, Patty. The point is, why has the Republican Party picked this insane idea, especially America, of all places, when we're loaded with immigrants? And Patty, real quick, talk about Irish. My grandmother used to say to me, I was sitting with my grandmother one day, she said, Jimmy, my father was never home in Ireland. I said, where was he? Well, he was at the track. He was at the track constantly, But anyway, my point being, we're all immigrants here. We're all immigrants.
Yeah.
And we love America. And anybody who comes here is going to love America. So anyway, Todd and Patty, Thanks for taking my call, guys.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
So great to hear from you, Jim.
Thanks.
Have a great one.
Thank you, Jim. I do want to remind folks, I'm going to be at the North Shore Center in Skokie this Saturday because Capitol Fools has 2 performances Saturday, 1 on Sunday. I'll be there to introduce them on Saturday night, hanging out in the lobby for a meet and greet from 7 to 7:30 and showtime at 7:30. Get your tickets by visiting northshorecenter.org. See you there. I am excited about it's all. Did you know that I got into comedy to be a political humorist? But it wasn't
I did not know that.
It was not my strong suit.
I only laugh because you have no weak suits. It's just you have maybe preferences.
Oh, thank you. But I was 23 and I looked like I was 15, telling a room full of people why Jesse Helms and Strom Thurmond were terrible human beings. Nobody was buying what I was selling, is what I'm saying. Like,
and you still have the baby face, so that's going to follow you.
Yeah, but now it's a little bit easier for me. The experience helps to talk about these things. I asked our last guest earlier in the studio, Cecilia, about what got her into law, and I know I've probably asked you in the past, but what drew you to the profession of law?
I'm not sure. I feel like we haven't talked about it in some time now, but the answer is still the same, of course. Just growing up, knowing struggle, knowing poverty, knowing hunger, knowing a lot of the discrimination that we've talked about today, and wanting to put myself in a position to fight for others and help people overcome those barriers and those struggles, just like my mother helped us. And I was laughing because I just came from a super salty lunch that we were talking about during the break. But, I have never even thought of getting a job that pays me what my education merits or my skill merits. It's always about doing everything I can to pour whatever talent and time God gives me on this earth to make sure other people don't have to experience as much pain and hardship as they otherwise would and already are. So it's interesting. And to have a lunch like I did today with some older fellas who, I've navigated this entire journey basically since youth. I've never had an older fella give me any sort of consistent guidance or encouragement or support or navigate. This is how you avoid the land pitfalls. This is a way to fast track. This is how you accelerate. I've kind of had to blindly navigate this whole thing. And I think when we talk to people like the attorney who's, the newbie for the boldness to kind of start her own firm without anyone kind of helping her out, that's just, I can't tell you how hard that is on a regular basis, kind of chart your own way. So when I see what you've done in terms of your comedy career and your political career and all the things, I don't see a lot of people who are helping you and holding your hand and making sure you can avoid these pitfalls and making sure you get the support you deserve. So when we think about these struggles and we think about like people's why and why people kind of do the things, it really has to be in you, because there isn't a lot of support otherwise.
I agree. People ask me how I do things, and I'm just like, I don't feel like I have a choice. It's getting up and talking about these things and wanting to push back on what's happening. I don't know. I've known for a long time, like even as a kid, even what I went through as a child, the trauma that I experienced and survived. I don't know if that's why. So I went to a school that had a lot of challenges, to say the least, when it came to kids being bussed in from other communities, Black kids that were coming to our school. And I remember in second grade, I told my husband this. I remember one of the teachers took one of the kids, one of the Black kids, and dragged him by his wrist down the row of, and I didn't see her ever. Treated him like he was not human. And I just remember but I remember thinking, when I grow up, I wanted to create a button that you could push that would let people know that a teacher was being cruel, was treating someone badly. And I watched a lot of people in my community just be so intolerant, so hateful. And I still am learning. For example, there's a thread going around right now. A police officer in Houston, Latina, videotaped herself saying some of the most vile things about Black people. And a lot of Latinos were jumping on and saying, hey, not all Latinos. And I'm like, that's not time for that. They know that.
Yeah.
People know that. People know that. We know that there's racism in our community, that there are Latinos that have. I mean, the reason why Latinos voted against their own self-interest, because they would rather, there are some that would rather their closeness to whiteness is something that gets them through sometimes. And
the visual, the perceived closeness to whiteness is signaled by voting for something that is antithetical to your existence. But that's politics. That's a political problem, and I think that's certainly rife in the Black community as well, where being successful means being white and doing what white people do, and that's obviously the way to be successful is fulfill your potential and making sure you're doing what you can to take care of your community, your tribe, your family, your loved ones. And voting has to be consistent with that. I mean, I understand that some people talked about the handful of people who benefit from some of these policies, but the literal millions of people who are experiencing pain that may be permanent, that may not have that sunny thing at the end of the road we talked about a bit earlier about, what if we come out stronger? That's the prayer, that's the fight, that's, what we're holding on to. But in the meantime, there's a lot of people in pain. So for people who vote one way and then act like they don't see the pain, that's the stuff that's hardest for me to kind of work around.
Yes. I agree. We're talking to Todd Belcore, Executive Director for Social Change. Go to socialchange.site and support the work that they do. We'll take a break here and continue our conversation when we come back on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150, and KTNF AM 950. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Cloudy and mild this evening. Chance of thunderstorms developing later tonight, mainly after midnight. A low temperature of 61 degrees with south winds at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Scattered thunderstorms Friday with a high temperature of 72 and breezy southwest winds. Saturday, sunshine, a high of 54 degrees. Sunday, partly sunny with a high of 58. And a chance of thunderstorms Monday with a high temperature of 64 degrees. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 81.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
This is the highlight of my morning. Hey, what's up? It's Island.
And I'm Josh.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Bacon, Egg, and Cheese Biscuit is that it's our go-to morning comfort.
And you've got that nice golden fluffy egg.
With a soft, flaky biscuit.
Crispy bacon.
Melty cheese.
You want something quick, you want something convenient, but most of all, you want something good.
There's no better way to start your morning.
There we go.
Start off the morning with a Chick-fil-A Bacon, Egg, and Cheese Biscuit with Simply Orange Juice. Order on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First, drown it with a bucket of water. Then stir it with a shovel.
Wow. You sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips. Because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
As a veteran, you get a lot of advice, but wisdom's harder to come by. A lot of people imagine themselves in our shoes without understanding the weight on our shoulders. The truth is, few can understand the pressure of finding your own way after serving in the military. But few isn't none. Steady yourself. You're not alone. You've got support. Learn more at maketheconnection.net.
Hey Google, play WCPT.
Streaming Chicago's Progressive Talk from TuneIn.
You know about Monaco Brewing Company, a progressive beer brewed in Wisconsin for people who still believe in democracy, decency, and calling things by their real names. First up, I need you to hear the full name. It is and always will be the Gulf of Mexico Mexican Lager, because while a certain geographically challenged president tried to rename an entire body of water with a Sharpie, the rest of us said salud to our southern ally and 5 centuries of history. Crisp, refreshing, and it tastes like having a spine. Then there's Freedom Trail Kolsch, light, clean, named for the escape routes refugees took fleeing Nazi Germany, the ones they made a little movie about called Casablanca. A reminder that resistance has always been an American tradition. You can order both right now at MonacoBrewingCompany.com. They ship directly to you, and if you're in the western suburbs, find them locally at Prairie Food Co-op in Lombard, Coon Food and Liquor in Carroll Stream, Beer on the Wall in Arlington Heights, and AJ's Liquorland in Naperville and Aurora. Monaco Brewing Company, brewing resistance one pint at a time.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue our conversation. Joining me in
studio. That was
studio.
whiskey and a cookie worthy conversation there.
I have not done. I suspended whiskey and a cookie because there weren't enough of the regulars that were joining me every Friday.
Oh yeah.
You know, life carries on. We moved out of COVID, and Adam was traveling around. You know, he was like off in Scotland, and he was off in New York, and Elliot was. You know, Elliot, by the way, is now working at the Orphans of the Storm. He's now working at another animal shelter.
No way. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm very excited for him. Orphans of the Storm is where I adopted my dog when I was a child, Pepper. So I'm going to be visiting because they're building a new facility out there. And then Esmeralda, you know, is busy. She's got a side business. So I'll figure out a way for us all
people
together.
Shining and doing amazing things.
Yes, and Todd Belcore is the executive director for Social Change. You can go to socialchange.site to learn more. And you were talking about going out to lunch to a place I have never eaten, but friends of mine has sung the praises of Fogo de Chao. This is where they bring you food on a sword of a sword of meat. Is this what they do?
Yeah, like a spick, and it's and then they cut it off, and you have to use your little tongs. Let me be clear. I was invited. I didn't. This is not my brainchild. This is not something we funded. Right. But people like nonprofit. What? Someone I just mentioned.
You get to have a meal that's like
sure,
a business
but
meal.
I just mentioned a moment ago how I've never had the opportunity to have kind of older people, men or women, really. Well, that's not true. Women, I have some had older women who provided like real instruction, but older men helped me navigate this like, you know, precarious world of starting your own business and, you know, being black and trying to avoid landmines and all that. But I was invited in this instance by some older men who were seemingly providing that level of support, and it just felt so good, but that's what they wanted to eat. And I just ate too much, y'all. So like I had everything they put the little go up, and I was not about to turn that thing around or anything red, so they kept cutting. I could not eat fast enough.
So is it like I mean, and then there's sides too, presumably.
There are sides. They bring a little it was two hands kind of eating. I'm just letting you know. It was some barbarian medieval times type stuff, but I was using a fork. But all this to say, like I have never felt this dehydrated in my entire life because it's well seasoned food. So there's salt, the stuff, you know, you're experiencing different flavors. And I've just been killing the water.
Are you having meat sweats at all? I had never heard of meat sweats. I didn't know that was a thing,
but I think I did experience that on the way here. When I was waiting in the on-deck circle, I got here a little early because the traffic can be so unpredictable. I'm always sad to be like, oh, I'm running late, I'm sorry. And I was like almost like, you know, when you've been drinking or something, I was like, what is going on? Like, I feel like a lot going. So red meat is amazing, y'all, but please moderation. Don't be like Todd. Don't be like Todd.
Well, it's funny because I've never been there, and I just imagine, like, I've gone to these places where it's all you can eat, like a Korean grill thing. Have you ever seen this, where you like, they give you like plates of beef and then you grill it at your table and stuff like that. But if you don't, whatever you don't eat, you can't take anything with you, and whatever you don't eat, you get charged for. Like, it's a weird thing. It's a lot of pressure, and like my friends will order all this food. I'm like, I can't possibly eat another. But so I kind of get what you're talking about.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely. I haven't been to an all you can eat situation in a very. I'm trying to think. I went to a sushi place one time.
Oof, and that's a dice roll,
right?
Mercy, all you can eat sushi.
Can I tell you? And I'm glad. It seems like it ended up okay. And I thought, like, should I warn Todd? Before I came to the station, I made some leftovers of a meal that I had made earlier in the week, and I was like, this seems like a bad. Like, that's something like, you know, 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock after my show. Like, noon seems like a risk, and it was chorizo with huevos.
Like, it's just been out?
Eggs. No. I'm saying like beans and chorizo. I mean, like Mexican food seemed like a challenge. Like, I could be a little bit, you know.
No, that sounds good.
I know, but it could be digestively. I could be creative, but
it may make you have
fine.
longer breaks than you'd intend.
Yeah, but I'm fine. Nothing. No distress is all I'm saying. No distress happening on the side of the board.
Thank God for it, because I'll wait to the next break to kind of go through it. But no, I do not recommend it. I mean, you say it's like a fourth of the normal cost. So it's like, if you want to experience that, that's the time. But just, you know, don't act like a poor kid who's never been to a steakhouse before, like me. Just kind of enjoy it like a grown up, and then you have a better experience.
I'm curious.
It's delicious.
Have you? I know you travel quite a bit. I remember when I used to be on the road all the time, and I always remember those billboards in Texas, the 72-ounce steak. Did you ever see these billboards?
No.
Oh, it's a challenge at like some. Folks, if you've seen these, or if you know if they still exist, if you could finish a 72-ounce steak, it was on the house. You could eat it for free. You would get it for free. Oh, it's a whole thing. It was a whole thing. Let me see.
4.5 pounds or something?
I don't know, but like, yeah, it's like a whole thing. It's if you can finish it, it's yours.
Well,
for
usually
free.
when they do things like that, there's some sort of like biological component where it's like you're going to get sick prior to doing it.
Right?
So,
I think they claim no responsibility.
I'm sure.
72-ounce steak challenge, Texas. It's at the Big Texan Steak Ranch in Amarillo, Texas. Requires one eating a 4.5-pound top sirloin steak, plus you have to have the sides, plus a salad, baked potato, shrimp cocktail, and bread roll, and you have 1 hour to finish all of it. This is where, so you should feel better about yourself because you know there are people going thinking they can do this.
Well, I was on pace. Let me tell you. I'm certainly not pointing fingers at those good people. At least they won something at the end of that challenge.
Isn't that
I just
crazy?
had my 7th glass of water. That's what I've gotten in return. So, no, but that is crazy.
That is nuts.
Yeah.
Yes, it must be finished in 1 hour, including all sides. No standing up or evacuating. You cannot lose your cookies.
No standing up is wild though.
Yeah.
You can't even reposition it. Like, you just got to sit there and take it.
Oh my God. The challenge has been running since 1962 with over 10,000 people successfully being successful out of 100,000 attempts.
Oh wow, that 10% success rates.
That is, I mean,
I can handle a hot wing challenge, but that's a lot.
I don't know. Do you scroll at all? Because I feel like you're too busy to scroll on social media very much.
You know, you would laugh at my stuff that comes to my feed. It's like girl dad stuff. That's super cute. We have a cat. I don't know if you know that
I
now.
know
Yeah,
you rescued a kitten. This is not by choice. This was
I've got cat videos. So it's like, and I got sports stuff. So like, you know, I do scroll a little bit, but they're only like 20-second vignettes, and I'm like, okay, that's good. And like, you know, I spam everyone with all the ones I've seen, and then I check back into work. But that's kind of the stuff I check out.
Okay. Have you seen when you're with the sports? There's a volleyball player. I don't know if you've seen this. Oh,
absolutely, absolutely.
Amazing. No return. What is it? There's so folks don't know. There's a volleyball player, and I follow him now. But he's gay. He's proud. He's out, and like he plays with a flair. Yes. He lands on his tippy toes, and he dances, and he spins,
pirouettes,
and he twirls,
and all sorts of stuff.
Yes. And then there was
Zest.
one. I don't know if you saw the one where now I'm like obsessed with volleyball, and like this is amazing. But there was one where I don't know if it was even him, but there was three players. One pops it up for a spike. Only he jumps up, pretending he's gonna hit it, but if someone comes from behind and like slams, it's
yes.
I'm now on the volleyball side of Instagram.
There's one of my little podcasts called Club 520. It's pretty ratchet, just for folks before you like take a look. And they were saying, man, he's got a lot of bounce. And they were like, pause, like, because, you know, bounce can mean so many other things.
Oh, gotcha.
So, but, you know, he was balling. And I was like, we need to see more people who are just proud like that, but also like showing how achieving comes in all genders.
Yes.
And, you know, fluidity and preferences and all that. But there's so much pressure in the athlete community to be in the closet and super quiet. So kudos to that fellow for having the courage to be out like that.
Oh man, he's just delightful. He has so much joy in his game. I'm just like, because it's funny. I sadly keep mentioning it. I keep putting it that way because of a friend of mine who I went to grade school with. We played basketball together, and so she sadly just passed away in December. And I was at the funeral with some of the other of my teammates. We played all the sports. We played volleyball, softball, basketball. But I was the worst. I was the center because I know. You're not wrong. I'm 5'6" now. I was 5'6" then. Let's leave it at that and come back in a moment on WCPT. I'll tell you more about that in a moment. When we come back with Todd Belcore, the executive director for Social Change. I want to check in with him about the International Film Festival and find out how people can get involved and support the other work that they do, including making sure people have access to the services that they need to feel healthy and safe and cared for, because we all deserve love. More after this. Again, that's socialchange.site, socialchange.site. Follow them on social media, including Instagram, as we mentioned, and the TikToks and the not TikTok, just the.
We actually do have a TikTok. I just we have someone who manages it on our squad. So
yeah,
God bless them.
I'm not on TikTok as much, but I get it.
Yeah,
Facebook and Instagram. More in a moment on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal here in Chicago. We're also live streaming on Facebook. Hi, everybody watching, and hello to our friends listening on KKNW 1150 in Seattle and KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul. And of course, we're also available on YouTube. And if you miss anything, you can catch our shows as podcasts wherever you listen to your podcasts. I'll take a breath now.
Hey Progressives, it's Richard Chu, host of Chu's Views, weekdays from 6 to 8 a.m. here on WCPT. I want to let you know that one of our leading progressive voices, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, will be my guest the first Friday of each month at 7:30 a.m.
There are so many people who want to understand how decisions are made, and there are many people who want to know that they are included in those decisions.
Mayor Brandon Johnson, the first Friday of every month on Chu's Views here on WCPT.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She could get a deal. Book telehealth if she feels.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
'Cause remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
A tree can be a warrior, battling global challenges with greater courage. A tree can be a solution, cleaning our air, supporting our communities, and protecting our wildlife. A tree can be noble, growing hope in every corner of the world. That's why now is the time for trees. Millions of trees. Join our planting movement at arborday.org.
WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us to continue our drive home. Joining me in studio is Todd Belcore, the executive director for Social Change. Go to socialchange.site. He laughed when I told him that in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, I was the center for my girls' basketball team at Our Savior Lutheran Norwood Park. And yes, I was 5'6". I think in 6th grade, I was a forward. And then I was the tallest in 7th and 8th grade at 5'6". Actually, I was very good because we had to do what do you call it when tip off
jump balls.
Yeah, so we had to do jump balls and obviously for fouls and things like that. However, I was
obviously for fouls. You were good on the fouls. Obviously, yeah. I slapped someone quick.
So when I went to this funeral for beautiful Jenny Boris, who passed away, some of my classmates from grade school were there, Kelly Nealing, and I could not believe that she remembered how I played. That's what I
leaving a mark for real.
Oh, I fouled out more often than not. I mean, like it was almost a goal of mine. When I was watching some videos, because this is before Dennis Rodman, talk about not having any mentors.
Yeah.
Because I was watching Dennis Rodman, I'm like, God, I wish there had been somebody I would have watched because he would make it look like somebody else was getting all twisted up with him and stuff. And I was like, damn, that was good. I wish I had that kind of skills.
You'll learn a more brilliant way to hack.
Yes. Because I was a good rebounder, but my coach said, Patty, when you get the ball, pass or shoot, but whatever you do for the love of God, please don't dribble.
Take it right back up. Just take it up.
Yeah, and then I would slather myself. Now, I don't know if you guys realize this, but Ben Gay, first of all, was much more potent in the 80s. It had a smell, and I would slather so much on myself because if people touched me or got me, people would want to stay away from me. I smelled so.
Was it repellent?
It was a repellent.
Mercy me.
Or get myself on them and their eyes would tear up.
Wow.
There was one girl who was like, "You stink," and I was like, "Yes, I do."
I come closer.
I was.
It gets worse.
I was a little bit.
That's
ratchet.
devious.
I was.
Well done.
I was not good, but yeah. And Kelly Nealing remembered that I would foul out, but we also remember there was one game I did win one game. We were down by 1. I was at the top of the key. We were playing. It was the Lutheran school over by Roseland Cemetery, and I was at the top of the key. I got the ball, and I just turned around and just over my shoulder, and it went in.
There you
Nothing
go.
but that, baby. Did you play sports in grade school or high school?
I did. I actually played baseball and tennis. but I was 5'6" also when I was in high school. So
for those who don't know how tall Todd is, I would say 6'4" now.
Yeah, so it was a different experience, and I was very slight. So I was just more morale and just there for camaraderie. I can't imagine how life would have been different if I had any kind of height in the time when I was more prevalent and relevant in the athletic space. But I'm grateful for all my friends and the people I met and the opportunity to do it. And, you know, I definitely encourage, and my little ones are going to be playing sports because it's just how much it teaches you well beyond, you know, the actual game. It's just invaluable tools for kids going forward.
I love that so much. But I do want to know, and I'm sure people are wondering, when did you have the growth spurt?
Yeah, as oddly, I didn't really grow until college. So it was, so I kept coming back to reunions and stuff. People are like, who is this? I'm like, Todd, hi. So when you think of late bloomers, I took that to a whole nother level. But yeah, here I am, and you know, grateful to be here as a tall man and stuff. When I fly, every other moment, it's lovely.
Oh, I love that. I'm going to take a phone call from one of our listeners. We got Roosevelt on the line. Roosevelt, you're on with me and Todd Belcore. What's on your mind, my friend?
Todd and Patty, how you are?
We're good, thank you.
Hey, Roosevelt.
How y'all doing? Did you guys see Lutnick in front? I think it was the Senate or Congress, whatever, answering the questions. Did you see him laughing? He laughed at, there was a gentleman, I don't remember his name, and it was a Democrat from Indiana, and he was talking about union jobs, and Lutnick started laughing, and he goes, "There's nothing funny here." Did you guys? I just sent it to you, Patty, by the way.
Okay. There's a weird noise on your phone. I don't know what that like. It's like
I just picked up some headphones.
Okay, it sounds like he was going over speed bumps.
Rotary phone or something.
Rotary phone. It does sound like that.
It's my bad headphones. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna hang up and see what you guys think of it. I just wanted to see how these guys are all involved with making money. His sons, by the way, they question him about his sons in some company called Cantor Fitzgerald, if I'm not mistaken. So all these guys are making money. It's amazing how much these guys are just, raking the money in, with the help of Trump.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they question him about specifically about tariffs and how his sons are making money. And he was with another company. I don't remember the company.
Well, I mean, part of Project 2025 was to dismantle unions. So, I mean, it tracks. Absolutely. Thank you for calling, Roosevelt. I appreciate it. Have a good night.
Roosevelt.
Thank you. It sounds like, what are those? The rumble strip is what it sounded like, too. But it sounded like the rotary phone, too.
There's like a little cool list of things coming to mind that could be. It's like, it could also be, but at the end of the day, he's right to call that out and how appalling it is. I mean, for everyone to make money that you care about, but no one else is such a crazy thought. It's like, it's one thing for it to be like, true capitalism, where you're opening up opportunity, at least, ostensibly. And then, but to just squirrel every bit of opportunity and resource to make sure your friends and people who are giving you money are the only ones who get access to it, that's corruption in its most transparent form. And that's our government right now. And those are just facts. That's not even that's not a party thing. I mean, Democrats have issues with those things as well.
Yep.
So it's right to call that out. Some of the people I had lunch with are people who are older, who have a pension and things like that, and have the opportunity to live a life and, retire in comfort and do some things that they've earned the right to do that so few people in our generation will have a chance to do, because retirement and pensions and things are, things for others, things of the past, things that are dying, things that may not even be funded. So thanks for bringing attention to that, Roosevelt. Is such a key component to the middle class, and wealth preservation and dignity and seniorhood is something that's going extinct intentionally.
Thank you so much, Roosevelt. Again, that's Todd Belcore, the Executive Director for Social Change, a 501c3 nonprofit organization removing barriers to nutrition, housing, jobs, and opportunity to improve the health and economic well-being of our communities. You can go to socialchange.site and tell us a little bit about the International Film Festival so folks can get involved.
Yes. So the International Film Festival is our project to, use storytelling as a tool to unite, inspire, and get people movements for change. But actually, we have postponed that because of all the stuff with ICE and the overlap with activism and stuff. We are hearing reports that people that is maybe monitored, and we didn't want anything to happen.
Yeah, no, I understand that completely.
So we were just really worried about that, and
it's hard to plan.
That's right.
Hard to plan around fascism.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to be so bleak about it.
So we're praying that after the midterms, there'll be a mandate that kind of forces a return to actual law and order, not goons and kind of despot behavior. So, but I just couldn't forgive myself of the thought of someone being apprehended or mistreated and the repercussions that may flow from that. And some people on my board felt differently. So I just want to say that, some people say, well, this is time to be courageous and stand up and, make sure those words, it's like we're courageous standing up every day when we're getting out the vote, we're registering people, we're making sure people are fed, making sure that people are getting legal assistance they need, we're fighting in policy halls, testifying, writing legislation, all that stuff. It's just in this one mechanism where it's more of a social gathering where people know there'll be a large swath of people. The idea of some of these kids being separated, especially now being a newer father, it's harder for me to fathom how I would deal with that in a way that wouldn't result in me going to prison. So I'm trying to, make sure I can stay in a position to take care of my loved ones, and that involves trying to minimize risk in that regard.
That's Todd Belcore, the executive director for Social Change. Again, go to socialchange.site. That's SITE, socialchange.site. You can also follow them on Instagram and Facebook. And don't forget, you can hang out with me on Saturday at Capitol Fool's Show at the North Shore Center in Skokie. They got 2 performances Saturday and 1 on Sunday. I'll be there to introduce the Saturday night show, hang out in the lobby for the meet and greet between 7 and 7:30. Get your tickets at northshorecenter.org. Todd, don't make it so long before you come back. Don't always wait for me, because I like all my friends, I got to remind them, say, hey, do you have room for me? You can just say that. I've told you that before, and you're going to make me reach out to you again. Thank you so much, Todd.
Thank you so much. It's always a privilege and opportunity. Thank you,
Thank
Lady
you.
B, of
Good
course.
night, Lady B. Love you. Bye, everybody.
I've tried everything to stand out at work. Donuts, a company coffee blend, even dressed as the company mascot for Halloween.
There's an easier way. A ComEd facility